Hiya there. I'd just like to say thank you very much for everybody for watching the video that I made. I'm not a very confident person, so obviously it did take a lot for me to make that video. And I just want to say I'm very, very thankful for the feedback. There was a lot of positive feedback. To be honest, there's that much of my life that, you know, that there's that many issues and that many subjects for me to cover, you know, that, to be honest, I just don't know where to start. I've never really done anything like this before. I would like to share my poems with you guys. The reason I got into writing poems is because of I spend a lot of time on my own. A lot of drug addicts tend to like, you know, mix with with everybody, and you know, that like little group and stuff, and use their drugs together and whatnot. Where me, I'm more sort of isolated and I keep myself to myself. So you know, obviously making that video and stuff like that, it was quite a big thing for me to do, so I do really appreciate all of the feedback, you know. And then obviously Cody is just is an amazing person, you know, and he gave me the inspiration to make the video. So basically I would like to start by saying, you know, thank you to everybody. There's that many questions, you know, that people have asked, and so first of all I'll try and answer a couple of those questions. One of them mainly being is to why I went to prison. Well, I have 27 previous convictions, range of shoplifting, possession with intent to supply, fraud and deception, breach of community service, breach of probation, failing to appears, and that type of thing. My one thing, I laugh about it now because I haven't done shoplifting for a while, you know. I'm in a bit of a mad sort of situation at the moment where I have a dealer who basically keeps me and my drugs. I have my there's pros and cons to it type of thing, but you know, anybody that is in a similar situation wouldn't know where I'm coming from. I first went to prison, as I've done the video the other day, and I explained, you know, on the effect it had on the children, which, you know, isn't good. And I noticed in the comment area that my daughter, basically, Kimberly, bless her, she'd commented and said, "Mum, you know, like, it's a good thing what you've done." Yeah, down in the comment area, she did watch the video and she commented. Basically, I went to prison, like I said, for shoplifting. I just come to the point where I'd got away with it that many times, and I was getting like probation, community service, and all that type of thing. And obviously the judge just had enough of me and just says, right, you're going to jail. And obviously the consequences of that was harsh due to the children, which quite a long time ago. As you can see, I do look rough, like my teeth are knackered, my skin, everything. I'm just a bit messed up, really. And I'm just at the moment, trying to tell myself that it's time to get clean, you know. And I'm hoping by doing these videos that, you know, these positive feedbacks and so obviously there's going to be some people, you know, that you know, I noticed on the video there's a couple of people that have put a thumbs down. Now to me, it's probably nothing to nobody else, but to me that was, you know, it does affect me really, because like I'm sort of like a bit of a people pleaser, and I don't like people. It's hard for me to say, but I don't like people to dislike me. I think once people know, oh, you know, she's a heroin addict, she's a smackhead, she's a baghead, she's a crackhead, you know, obviously people are gonna like judge me, you know, due to that. But I sit here, you know, and I'm not going to get emotional, but I do feel emotional because, you know, it is really hard living this life. And because I've been on it for such a long time, you know, it's really hard to break the cycle. When I was younger, I was living with my mum. She was an alcoholic, and the house we was living in at the time, my mum let these people stay. You know, they was lodging at my mum's house. And the guy, he was a glue sniffer, and basically he sexually abused me when I was a child. I think I was 9, so you know, he sexually abused me for a couple of years. Anyway, you know, that was like obviously a bad time in my life. And he was telling me that if I was to tell anybody, I wouldn't be able to see my mum again. We were skating on thin ice anyway, because my mum was an alcoholic. So, you know, social services were determined to take us into care. I have 4 brothers and I'm the only girl. So, you know, I knew that if I was to say something, that possibility of us being taken into care and away from my mum, which I didn't want. You know, in the end we all did get taken into care. But I've run away from the children's home because I basically didn't want to leave my mum on her own, because she was an alcoholic, and you know, she was in a very, very, very violent relationship where the guy would literally like strangle her and stuff like that, and I'd go in running, crying, saying, "Mum, you know." It was just a very, very, you know, I would hide in the bedroom. I'd hide in the cupboard, and I would always fall asleep like this with my fingers in my ears, because you know, my mum was an alcoholic, like I said. She'd never ever harm me, but it'd be more mentally. She'd go on a rampage, obviously, once she was drunk, but like once she was sober, you know, she was the nicest person. I always remember, quite funny really, think about it now, the only time that I could ever get close to my mum is when she was asleep, and I'd go into her bedroom and I'd kiss her, give her a kiss, and I'd give her a cuddle and tell her how much I loved her, because it was the only opportunity I'd get to do that is when she was sleeping. So, which is quite sad really, but you know, my mum's passed away now. She died in 1997, and you know, I miss her like crazy. Anyway, when I was 15, I met a guy. I was 15, he was 28, and basically, I got pregnant with my son, who's now 26, and my beautiful daughter Kim. I'm sure she won't mind me saying her first name, because she has commented in the last video. She was my everything, and my son was obviously as well. And what it was, I was suffering from severe postnatal depression after I gave birth to my second child, and the children's father, he introduced me to drugs. He told me it was cannabis on foil. And basically what he was doing was, he was, through a little foil tube, he was blowing the smoke into my mouth, and he was giving me like what you call a blowback. And that's how basically I got in, you know, I started using heroin. And what it was, he was giving me that for a couple of weeks, and at the time it took away all the thoughts of the, you know, the sexual abuse. I was hearing voices in my head. It took away the voices out of my head. It took away all the panic attacks. It took away everything. Just basically bleached me, you know. It was like I'd been wrapped in cotton wool. I felt safe. I felt secure. I felt confident, which I'd never ever been a confident person. But once I'd had this stuff, you know, I felt very, very confident. And I think everything I'd gone through as a child, the sexual abuse, you know, the mental abuse due to mum's alcohol, and, you know, other stuff, it was the first time in my life that I actually felt safe and secure. So, unfortunately, that's where my journey began of being a heroin addict. Yeah, and it just sort of like progressed really. Obviously, when you're a heroin addict, you know, because like I said, this stuff I was taking, it was like a miracle thing. It was like, it was making, like I said it again, I repeat, it was making me feel safe, making me feel secure. All the thoughts of the sexual abuse, it took everything away. I didn't have to face reality. Now I've wrote a couple of poems, and one of them is titled Reality, and it took I basically started writing poems because it was the only way really that I could express the way that I was feeling and the emotions I was feeling. So I thought, I felt like, I'm no expert on poetry or anything, and I actually started writing a poem because I needed help. I was crying out for help. I was crying out for someone to talk to. So this is a way really that I express myself, by putting pen to paper and writing poems. So on my next video, or I would like to share a couple of poems. My advice on prison would be this: you walk into a female's prison, and the first thing that people say, have you been to prison before? No. Basically, do not deny you've not been to prison. Say yes. Yes, I've been to prison. If they know that you have not been to prison, they're like vultures, because they know that you don't know the score, you don't know the dance, basically. They'll try and take everything off you. They'll take you to the laundries and back, do you know what I mean? They'll probably clean you out. So my advice, personally, as a female, former prisoner, have you been to prison before? Yes. End of. Yes, I have. And you will see them back away from you. If you say, no, I've not been to prison before, boom, they're there. They want, oh, can I use your phone credit? You have, when you go into prison, you have some phone, like you have a PIN number type of thing, where you can make a phone call. But normally you have like on a list, and on this list you have to have telephone numbers where this prison staff, they phone your family members just to basically for them to agree, that you can phone them and that type of thing. But when you first land on the jail, they don't have to have that confirmation of family members or friends to say that you can phone them. You can phone anybody. So if they know you haven't been to prison before, the girls will rinse you, mate. Trust me, they'll use your phone credit, yeah. I mean, you used to get a reception pack with tobacco and stuff, but now, I haven't been to jail for a while now, but basically you used to get obviously tobacco, but now you get a vape. Now, if them girls know you've not been to prison before, trust me, you will end up getting locked in that night with no phone credit, no vape, no reception pack whatsoever. They'll clean you out. So I strongly advise, have you been to prison before? Yes, I have. No more questions are asked or whatever. They'll leave you alone, basically because they know that you know the score. So I strongly, please say, yes, you've been to prison before. They won't even ask you what prison you've been in. They won't even ask you how long did you do. Nothing like that. Once you say, yes, I've been to prison, they'll just back off. Simple, back off. Basically, when you first landed in jail, I'll be honest, it's not nice. Obviously it's not nice. You're away from your family, you're away from your children, you're away from, your comfort zone. But like I say, I cannot express strongly enough how much you have to say you've been to prison, because if you say you've not been to prison before, them girls, they won't leave you alone. They'll be there. Soon as you get unlocked, they'll be there. Anything they think they can, because they know, they know that you don't know the score, so they know that they can take off you, they can take anything off you. So please, girls, if you ever do get sent down to prison, it's your first time, just say, yes, I've been to prison before. End of. Like I said, they won't even consider asking nothing, no questions or nothing. Basically, prison, it's a lonely place, and a lot of people don't like prison officers, where I disagree there, because the prison officers, you know, there are ones that are very, like, stuck up, and they don't, you know, oh, she's in for shoplifting, you know, and, you know, a drug addict and stuff. Now, if you're a drug addict and you're going into prison, please be prepared, you know, that you ain't going to feel well, trust me. And I would strongly advise, if you're going to prison, cut down that habit, cut down. I was on benzodiazepines. I was taking like 28, believe it or not, I was taking like 28 10 mil diazes a day, enough to kill a horse. I was on 150 mil methadone, you know, enough to kill a 30 mil of methadone is enough to kill an adult. No, I was on 150, and I'm only little. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a big shock. I ended up in hospital many a times because I was having epileptic fits and stuff because I was drinking as well. So you get medicated. The doctor will see you, and they'll give you like 10 mil of methadone, which obviously, you know, if like I said, I can't express enough. If you know you're going to get sentenced, you know, and there's a chance that your brief has said to you, you might go to jail, please, girls, please, cut your habit down. If you're a drinker, you know, then please just try and cut it down as much as you can, because, like I said, there's on that wing, there's ambulances daily, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, where they're coming in, because girls, like myself, you withdrawing really bad because you haven't used your head and you didn't cut your habit down before you went to jail. The most they'll give you is 30, possibly at a push 40 mil of meth. And then, like, I mean, you do the night shift, you're up all night rattling your back out, do you know what I mean? You know, and you're waiting for 12 o'clock. They don't rush, mate, trust me, they don't rush to give you your meth. You're looking at about dinner time, 12 o'clock, they'll give you your 30 mil of methadone to obviously hold you through then till the next day. Now, what it is, I first went to prison for shoplifting. My second prison sentence, I got 10 months, and that was for failing to appear in court and for breaching community service, you know, where you go out and do the work for the community. So I served 5 months out of that. That was my second time. My third time, I was living with this guy who was selling drugs. He got caught with 2 ounces of heroin. He got 7 years. It was his third strike for, you know, for supplying. I got I had to serve. The judge said I have to serve 13 months. No early release, no nothing. Serve 13 months. That jail sentence, to me, was probably the best sentence I've ever done. It was the longest sentence I've ever done. And I actually got to do a little bit of a rehab course in there. Life story. Now, life story for me is hard, as if you know, don't mind reading one of my poems. Reality for me is not one thing that I can handle. I can't handle reality because of, you know, the sexual abuse and everything else that happened when I was a child. I don't like reality, so I know people say, oh, it's just an excuse, but I do use to block things out, you know. When I wake up in the morning, everything's real, it's reality. So basically, the aim of this video is, I know I've probably you know, confused everybody. Hopefully I haven't, but hopefully this video is, you know, just a little bit of advice really on, you know, mainly the main one, like I said, is about the prison, about going into prison and saying that you've been to prison before. Like I said, there'd be no questions asked or nothing. And the answer to the questions in the comments, what have I gone to jail for, like I said, is shoplifting, mainly shoplifting, because I've had to go out shoplifting to get the money for my next fix. Possession with intent to supply, fraud and deception, breach, you know, breach of my probation order, breach of my community service, and failing to appear. So, you know, when I'm due up at court, I've failed to appear. So basically give me like 3 months failing to appear because, you know, a pain in the arse and I didn't turn up. Like I said, I really hope you guys can read some of my poems, because them poems are my life on paper. And if you Google my name, Sally Hodgkiss Poems, it will actually come up with the poems. The main one is called My Wish, but the one that I'd really like you guys to read would be True Life of an Addict. And it's a really good one. It's all about, I think it starts off like, I will not introduce myself as you know me so well. The day I met you, my life went to hell. And it basically talks about me and my relationship with drugs, my relationship with heroin, my relationship with crack. You know, it's my best friend. It's there all the time, you know. And really, it's yeah, it's my whole life on paper, to be fair. Like I said, I'm sorry, I'll end this video now, but I'm really sorry if I've confused everybody, because I've just done a mixture of everything, you know. And yeah, so like, I will do another video. I have asked Cody if he didn't mind writing a list of questions that you guys have asked, which I would be able and willing, very willing to answer. And I just like to let you know my goal in life. The reason I'm doing this video is because if I could just help one person from stop using, that for me would be, it'd be amazing. You know, it really would. Like I said, and you look at me, you know, I look rough, my my teeth are a mess, my skin's bad. My home, I've got an okay home, I've got a okay little home. As you can see, it's not, you know, like when I showed Cody a video of my place, he was quite shocked, you know, to see that I wasn't one of these that have sort of like, you know, got no carpets in my flat and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, as you can see, it is an okay little flat, you know. I do try and keep the flat, you know, clean and tidy and stuff. And like I said, it does help by, you know, trying to have a decent home, really. And as you see, I've got carpets, which is a good thing. But yeah, like I say, I just hope that I've managed to give a little bit of insight, really, into my life and my life as an addict. It's a very lonely and hard place to be. As for my children, I'm very, very, very lucky that I still have contact with my children. But on the next video, surprisingly enough, I do have something to say. And I did find somebody. I got married, and basically I had 2 more children. They're so adorable, aged 9 and 11, which probably took you guys from a surprise, because really, you know, my life, I shouldn't really been having any more children, but I did find a place in my life where I was settled, and basically I had 2 more children. And, you know, on the next video I'll explain a little bit what happened and stuff like that. But for now, that, you know, I hope that I haven't confused everybody, and it's been good, you know, to share a little bit of my life. This is just like literally like 1% of my life. But anyway, yeah, thanks for listening, and hopefully, you know, I've sort of like answered a couple of questions. But like I say, it's not been easy, because I'm not a very confident person, but I appreciate, you know, you guys giving me the positive feedback and stuff, and it really means a lot to me. Okay, thank you. Bye.